It is a truth scarcely known, that we live in a delusion of safety, assured by a fleeting figment of invincibility, never quite aware, never quite cognizant of the ever-constant threat, the cold, calculated pattern that is murder, cyclical, inescapable, an inevitability. Welcome to Murder on the Radio Express. The year, unimportant. The place, the South. Laura Buckets, alive until she wasn't. Murdered by a shoebox. A dinner bell rings. But poor Laura does not come to the table, because she is dead. Her adopted mother, Amanda Witherby, expresses her frustration to her biological and favorite daughter, Mary.
Mary, where is that sister of yours?
Perhaps she's fallen asleep, Mother.
Laura! Supper's ready, Laura! Oh, Mary, would you go and fetch that silly girl and get her to come to supper?
Mary went to find her sister, annoyed that her supper was getting cold. But what she didn't know is that something else was getting cold. Her sister Laura's dead body, which was no longer alive anymore. Suddenly, Mary let out a scream. Amanda ran into the room.
Mary, what is the matter? Oh no, Laura! My darling Laura! Oh no, Laura! Laura, she's dead! She's dead, I say! Oh, Laura! 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 Oh no! Laura!
Suddenly there was a knock at the door, followed by two other ones. The two of them ran down the stairs to open the door, where they found their neighbor, Mr. Crowley.
Look, Mary, it's our neighbor, Mr. Crowley.
Yes, Amanda, it's me, your neighbor, Mr. Crowley. But that isn't what I came to talk to you about. I heard a scream. Is everything all right?
Oh, Mr. Crowley, everything is not all right. My adopted daughter Laura has been murdered.
Murdered? As in?
That's right, killed. Killed all the way to death she was.
Well, I never do know what to say in these situations.
Should I call the police, Mother?
Police? Yes, why that's a fine idea, Mary. Allow me to go dispose of something.
Amanda left the room, and Mary picked up the telephone.
Hello? Yes, my ugly sister Laura has been murdered. You know where we live, I presume. Okay. Love you too. Bye now. No, you hang up. Okay. All right now.
Mary hung up the phone.
The police will be here soon.
It was the police.
Evening, officer.
Evening indeed. I would say good evening, but that would be inaccurate, given that a murder has occurred. Hello, Mary.
Hello, officer.
Mary, where is your mother this evening?
Did somebody say Amanda?
Amanda entered the room again.
Might I ask where you were just now, Mrs. Witherby?
Oh, please, Mrs. Witherby was my mother's name. Call me Amanda.
That's all right, Mrs. Witherby. And you can stop doing that with your hips now. My question?
Oh, yes, I was just disposing of something.
What were... Oh, dear. Oh, no, Mrs. Witherby. Please stop. Goodness. Don't do that. Oh. Okay, thank you. Well, now what was I asking? Oh, well. Now, I'm afraid that none of you will be able to leave this house for a while.
Why ever not?
Because all of you are suspects in the murder of Laura Buckets.
Suspect? Why, I only just arrived.
And I was trying on my new shoes.
And I was... Well, that's beside the point.
Now, Mrs. Witherby, that was suspicious. Tell me, what were your feelings towards your adopted daughter, Laura?
Officer, I am appalled by your inquisitive tone. To think that I killed Laura? Why, that is nonsense, I say. Sure, I found her unbearable. Sure, I have always resented her for being adopted and less pretty than my real daughter. But killed her? Why, that is an absurd notion. In fact, I had just purchased her some new shoes. Why would I kill someone after buying them shoes?
That's a good point, Amanda. My apologies for suspecting you.
None taken.
Mary, you said you were trying on new shoes today. Would you care to explain your story?
Mary did not want to share her story, but she happened to be good at lying.
I would love to share my story. You see, I saw that Laura got some new shoes, and yes, I was jealous.
Jealous enough to kill her?
Suddenly, everyone gasped.
Kill her? Kill her for some shoes? Well, I'll be honest, I did think about it. But actually doing it, I would never. She's like a sister to me. But like a sister I don't love very much. Besides, as I was about to explain, Mother came in and told me that Laura did not want the shoes anymore, said she wouldn't be needing them. I was very excited by this, so I tried them on. Meanwhile, I was hearing some ruckus in Laura's room that I thought must be nothing. Now, in hindsight, I think that must have been Laura being killed, which explained why she was screaming and hollering and carrying on like she was. But by the time I was done trying on the shoes, dinner was ready, so I just went downstairs without a second thought. Then Mother had me fetch Laura for dinner, which is when I went back up and found her dead.
Interesting. Well, you've been very helpful, Mary. In fact, you've given me an idea. Before I do any other investigating, I'm afraid I'm going to have to go up and inspect the body.
Inspect the body? Why, how invasive! Don't you need a warrant for something like that?
Ma'am, when it comes to murder, death is the only warrant I need. And if justice were half as sweet as an apple pie, why, then that's just the cherry on top.
At that, the officer walked up the stairs, the others following behind him. There, they entered Laura's room. Well, the room that used to be Laura's, that is. There, they saw Laura lying on the ground. She was dead.
Poor thing.
She really is dead, then?
She really was.
Allow me to look closer, to see what may have been the cause of her dying.
It was very quiet as the officer did this. Only the sound of a clock ticking, a dog barking in the distance, a child on a rusty swing set outside, an old record player in the next room, and 5 power tools. Finally, the officer spoke, breaking the silence. But unlike other things that break, like a ceramic vase for example, the silence didn't make any noise at all.
After examining the body, I can conclusively say that Laura was indeed killed, but not by any ordinary means. Judging by these abrasions here and here, the murder weapon could have been nothing other than a shoebox.
Shoebox? But could that have anything to do with the new shoes Mary was using?
Shoes. Shoebox. Of course! Mary, where is the shoebox from your new shoes?
Well, I didn't kill Laura with it, if that's what you're implying. I immediately gave the box to Mother, since she was going downstairs to make dinner, and I had no need of the box to be sitting in my room.
Yes, that's true, and I immediately set the box outside to be picked up by the local recycling man, as I always do.
Local recycling man? But if I'm not mistaken, that's...
Mr. Crowley!
Mr. Crowley, you have been awfully quiet.
Likely from you being guilty, no doubt.
Well,
Of course! It all makes sense now. Mr. Crowley took the shoebox from outside on his usual rounds and snuck inside while Mrs. Witherby was making dinner, killing the poor unsuspecting Laura.
if you'll just let me...
Mr. Crowley, how could you? Sure, she was unlikable, but you didn't have to kill her.
Everyone, please.
I've heard quite enough from you, Mr. Crowley.
The officer hastily placed handcuffs on the wrist of Mr. Crowley, pleased with the poetic justice of it all.
It seems poetic, Mr. Crowley. Your hands, once used for recycling collection and murder, now stuck together with some metal things. You are under the arrest for the murder of Laura Bucket.
Today is not recycling day, so I'm afraid this ridiculous story about me murdering Laura makes no sense at all.
The room fell silent when Mr. Crowley spoke.
Mr. Crowley, why did you not say so sooner? I suppose this does give us cause to reevaluate some things. Perhaps there is a bit more to this.
Fine then, you got me.
It was Amanda who said this.
Mrs. Witherby, what do you mean?
Don't play silly with me, officer. I can see as plain as day that the jig is up at last.
Mrs. Witherby, I must say I'm surprised. To be honest, I didn't think it was you at all.
Oh, stop it, officer. I bet you say that to all your suspects. But although I am flattered, I can't say I'm pleased that you figured out my secret.
No. I mean, I was only going to say we should look for more evidence.
You mean like this evidence?
Suddenly, Amanda proudly lifted up a shoebox, much like someone who was lifting up something they were proud of.
That must be the shoebox used to kill Laura.
But, Mother, how could you do it?
It was simple, really. All I had to do was murder her.
Amanda Witherby, now it's you who's under the arrest. Sadly, I used my last pair of handcuffs on Mr. Crowley, so I'll just have to have you follow me.
Why, certainly, officer.
The officer turned to lead the way down the stairs, when Amanda threw the shoebox at the officer's head and turned off the lights.
Ah, the lights!
Ah! Shoebox!
Finally, they managed to get the lights back on, but when they did, they realized that someone was no longer in the room.
Mother is gone.
She must have left when she threw the shoebox at me and turned off the lights.
So what do we do now, officer?
What do we do now? What can we do? When it comes to murderers who run away, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do at all. Nothing we can do at all.
Amanda Witherby, a mother, a murderer, and someone who really did not want to go to jail. Always running, probably killing. Such is the life of all those who cause death, doomed to spend their lives in the pursuit of ending others, consumed by this murdering, until at a certain point they find the only life truly ended, their own. And so Amanda goes on living, but she is living a perpetual death, a death that takes, a death that hates, a death that kills.